As always, just let me know in the chat if you have questions, and we'll get started with Jeff Ferrano. Go ahead, Jeff.
Peter, how you doing?
Doing well. Good to see you, Jeff. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Zoom. Hopefully everybody's well and staying healthy.
Thank you. It looks like Tanner McKee will be playing for them. At least that's what they're saying. Can you just talk about what you see in him and how he makes them different?
Yeah, obviously, really the prototype pocket passer. He does move around. You see him escape the pocket a few times and try to advance and move the sticks that way, but a really great stature, throws the ball well from the pocket. You see him throw some deep outcuts to the field. So he's a guy that's going to make us defend the field horizontally and vertically. It's
a game where you guys didn't have a couple of people for your most recent game, and then you didn't play last week, and at the same time, he hasn't played in a couple of weeks. Is there a feeling out period, or do you expect it to sort of be full steam ahead when the game gets going?
I think it's gonna be full steam ahead. We did have the open week now because of that, the situation. But the guys, we had 3 practices last week. We jumped right into it on Monday. We've had some really good practices, and I know Coach Shaw and the team down there, they're going to get ready to go, and I expect it to come out and start fast.
Thank you.
Go to Trace Travers from Rivals. Go ahead, Trace.
Yeah, Coach, I want to take it back to the Arizona game for a moment. Just, you guys didn't have your full complement of assistant coaches and GAs and everything. I want to know, what is that like from your perspective, where, you're used to having guys maybe charting plays up in the box or more coaches to talk to the players? What did that look like for you guys?
It was definitely a challenge, Trace. That's something that, is unfortunately you take for granted. So for us, our defensive structure here, we have seven defensive coaches between the 2 GAs of quality control and the 4 full-time assistants. And, on game days, everybody takes a piece of that pie to kind of put the whole pie together in terms of protections, personnel, substitutions, tracking run, pass concepts to the field, to the boundary, all those other things that are really administrative. And then what we ended up elevating a few guys, and then we had some of the support staff. We had a quick tutorial, and Derek Haithcock, who works here with us, he jumped in and handled all the personnel. So we visited Friday and Saturday and going through about what the plan was and what we were expecting him in terms of communication and how we were going to match different personnel groups with what Derek was going to say. And then some guys, significantly helped out with the rotations, which the D-line rotation is always, I say that it's like a Rubik's Cube. Sometimes certain guys go with some groups, and there are certain times that we don't want certain people together for any sort of reasons or rep counts. So that's always the challenge. And then really calling the game, it kind of felt like I was, unfortunately, like flying blind. From the sidelines, from the perspective that I take on game day, it's hard to see all 22. And when you don't have eyes upstairs that are trained to see the game, in which we look at it all week, the information that is given back to you was virtually none. So that's the first time as a college coach I've had zero interaction with anybody upstairs about run spacing, pass concepts. Even sometimes if the ball is outside or out of my line of view, sometimes I can't tell if it's 3rd and 1 or 3rd and 3. So all those different things that different perspectives help you up. It was a challenge, but I thought the guys did a great job of on the field. They had a lot of ownership in their positions, and the guys that jumped up and supported us off the field were fantastic.
Awesome. And on Stanford, obviously talked about McKee already, but Urosek, the big tight end, he really stands out for them, and he's kind of emerged this year. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, Ben's a very, very talented player. When I was coaching in Seattle, the Uroseks were actually next door neighbors of ours in Seattle. So I've known the family. They were 2 doors down, and they're a beautiful family and great parents. And he's a great young man. He's turned into a heck of a football player. They're featuring him in the run game and the pass game. He's a tough matchup for safeties, and then linebackers is even a more challenging matchup. But he's going to be, I think, one of those guys that's in that lineage of a great Stanford tight end.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to David Bush from Bear Insider.
Oh, Peter, before you got here, were you aware of the big game and all the hoopla and everything that goes around it? And since you've gotten here, what do you think about it?
Well, I was aware of it, David, being on the West Coast. However, you kind of live in your own little world. So growing up in the state of Washington, it was the Apple Cup, and then going to school, it was the Civil War. So there's only so many rivalries you can be educated on, I guess, or experienced through. But now understanding it here and understanding the great tradition of the game and all the implications of the people that still live here from Cal and Stanford, it's become a one that's very apparent of why it's so special to the area and really to college football.
Thanks.
And we'll go back to Jeff Ferrano from Cal Sports Report.
And Peter, just checking, you do have your full complement of assistants and all the different people that you have normally this weekend?
We expect to have everybody available this weekend, yes.
And was there anyone in particular who you elevated from a role that's far different than what he had to do in that game against Arizona that you want to mention, who did just a particularly good job for you?
Well, we talked about Derek Haithcock, who he's in our recruiting department. So he jumped up and helped the personnel. And then Zach Boshin, who's also in recruiting, and Benji, they were instrumental in planning out the defensive line substitutions. And then when I'm on the headset talking about, hey, we're going to sub in this situation, of being able to map that process out. So Derek did a great job. Zach did a great job. Benji. And then we had a student assistant, David Ortega, was upstairs helping chart things as well, of charting my calls and be able to go back. So those 4 guys in particular really jumped up and were awesome to help us.
Are they now clamoring to get back and do more of this?
No, it's funny. I haven't had anybody really come back and say they want any more of that.
Enough is enough, huh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, unless someone has something better, not sure we can end it any better than that. If you do have a final